Welcome everyone to the next episode of Macro Crypto, where we talk about layer ones out there, the smart contract platforms out there in the crypto space. Feels like so much weight has come off the shoulders, get so damn close to becoming a Bitcoin maxi each and every Monday. At least we can start to become a little bit more of a degenerate within the space, talking about these L1s such as Polkadot, Cardano, Solana, and Ethereum, the prince of crypto, the winner in my book. At the end of the day, everyone else is just trying to find their niche. So in today's video, we will be discussing Ethereum. The Ropsten testnet is right around the corner, probably within the next 48 hours. Also, ApeCoin had a vote whether to create their own L1 or stay in the Ethereum ecosystem. Now, we will be chatting about some L2s that are on the Ethereum ecosystem and what that means for the other L1s, as well as Solana having some NFT success, or aren't they? Also, Binance is launching their US exchange and what that means for other protocols. Also, Cardano has some very bullish news, as you've seen with the price action, and as well as some information about Polkadot, and ending this video on a little bit of traction for the L1s, because everything follows Ethereum when it comes to smart contracts, would then ultimately follow Bitcoin within the market. So let's go ahead, everyone, dive into today's video. Why we have this image in front of you, probably been glazing over it. The L0, or Layer 0, what Polkadot tries to become, allows their pair chains to speak with one another, interoperability. Everything is essentially a layer 1, in my opinion. Now, of course, there's going to be some nuances to all of it, but the L1 and L0s, they're all the same. They will eventually be data transfer. Ethereum mainnet will be the same thing, will be data transfer. And then L2s such as Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, all those L2s will be able to talk with one another, or at least bridge back to Ethereum. Now, Polkadot's trying to create an interoperability where their pair chains are their L2s, but in L1 in their book, it's so damn confusing. But L1s, definitely not the case, because they're L2s. They're not like Ethereum. Those L2s being able to speak with one another, the pair chains on the Polkadot ecosystem. Can Ethereum L2s get to that point? What type of integration can we all see from this? What does the L2s look like over on Cardano? Because if you don't know, eventually we'll all just be data transfer on the main nets across the board on L1s. Okay, we're not going to interact like we do today in the future. It's eventually going to go to all the L2s, and that's where the layer 3 comes in, the dApps built on top of those layer 2s, such as, games, metaverses, and of course, DeFi itself. So just wanted to give a quick explanation. Layer 1, layer 0, all the same. Data transfer eventually for all of those mainnets. Now, Ethereum's mainnet will eventually have a merge, hopefully later this year. Feels like it's been an eternity, delays left and right. But one thing that we've been pushing on this channel is that the Ethereum's Ropsten test merge, which is expected within the next 48 hours, is a clear indication, as long as it's successful, that the merge is right around the corner. There's been some hints that maybe August, maybe by the end of August, maybe September. We pushed August, but that's still up in the air. But at least we are that much closer to making it official and having the Ethereum merge take place, where the beacon chain and the consensus layer basically come together, or the beacon chain and consensus layer merges with the transaction layer, or basically the confirmation layer. All of it just be coming together, okay? The merge taking place later this year, but the Ropsten testnet, we'll keep a close eye on it. Hopefully next week, we just have positive news for you in regards to that merge. Now, AIP41 keep ApeCoin within the Ethereum ecosystem process. So Yuga Labs stated in a tweet that they believed ApeCoin needed to move to its own chain in order to scale. We believe ApeDAO that, at least for the time being, ApeCoin should remain within the Ethereum ecosystem and not migrate elsewhere to a L1 chain or a sidechain not secured by Ethereum. Now, sidechains, if you understand, do run parallel to Ethereum, but they don't use the security that Ethereum offers. Very similar to currently Arbitrum. Now, This proposal will end on June 8th, currently 71.4%. It got down pretty close to almost a 50-50 at one point. I think this was a day ago, but a lot of ApeCoin votes have been pushed in favor of keeping it on the Ethereum ecosystem. Eventually, this is just opening a door for ApeCoin to eventually create their layer 2 on the Ethereum ecosystem. All right, so eventually you're gonna see Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga Labs having an L2 on Ethereum. That's just a prediction. Eventually, maybe they can even have their own entirely own blockchain, but I doubt that. Just going off predictions here, okay, that it will be an L2 on the Ethereum ecosystem eventually down the line. Some L2s that you do want to keep in mind is Arbitrum, Optimism, Loopring, ZK Sync. Last week I was calling ZK Snarks all over the place. My apologies. Looking like a fool out there. ZK Snarks is actually the reason why for ZK rollups. The tech behind it, ZK Snarks, originated from Zcash, that zero knowledge proof. Now, that's where my mishap happened, but ZK Sync is actually my favorite. I did run a Twitter poll of your favorite, or have individuals vote on their favorite L2s within the space, and leading the way right now is ZK Sync. Now, of course, with 60% of the votes, mind you, we had 5 votes, but we're gonna take it as a win, okay? Also, Immutable X is a fan favorite within the NFT space. I think L2s will have plenty of room for growth here, especially in the next bull run. We talk about DeFi summer that we had back in 2020. 2021 was all about NFTs. 2024, 2023 possibly, but somewhere here coming up in the next couple of years, L2s will have their day and they will make a run. We already saw that with Polygon before and how much it ran. Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK Sync, Mutable X. You heard it here first. Just a guess though, right? Not financial advice. We're never here for financial advice. We're just for pure entertainment purposes only. So eventually also ApeCoin, if they create their own L2, that will probably run as well, if we're being honest with one another. But ApeCoin, if it's the native token within on that chain, it's only going to increase in value. So if you haven't already gotten yourself some ApeCoin, go check it out at the very least. Solana becomes the biggest blockchain to set a new milestone of reaching all-time NFT sale volume. Now, this is kind of awkward and kind of weird considering Solana has positioned itself as a go-to chain for non-fungible tokens. Total sales volume over 2.3 billion. This acted as a breakthrough in the network after Sol, its native token, recorded a surge of over 4 billion. This is just a big push for Solana at this point here. This achievement is begged Solana third position behind Ethereum and Ronin. If you didn't know, Ronin was actually a side chain to Ethereum, didn't use that same security. Ronin housed the very famous game of Axie Infinity, which we all know with the Ronin hack that took place, and over millions of dollars stole from that chain itself because it wasn't using the same security measures that Ethereum offers for if you were using a true EVM. But talking about Solana here, they are at least pushing a huge, massive in the gaming space and NFTs, but we were supposed to have a Solana NFT summer, and that died. I think it took about 2 weeks and it just went away. Also want to talk about Binance is US launching a high yield crypto staking for Solana, Avalanche, and more, up to 18%. All I'm going to say is watch out for those high yields. If they seems too good to be true, it usually is. Just saying. So if Solana and Avalanche are offering that, just don't go after it high APYs. It's just not the wisest thing to do when investing. Now, Grayscale increases ADA allocation to 30%, following which Cardano. Increases the allocation to 30%, following which Cardano. Oh, probably just means that we're going to look into this more. But basically, currently right now, their position, Grayscale, which houses, this is the X Ethereum fund, basically not Ethereum based, as you can tell here. Their Ethereum allocations in Bitcoin far outweighs everything else. But this is important to note that they are allocating the most funds to the Cardano ecosystem, 32 over 32%, followed by Solana, Polkadot, then Avalanche, Polygon, Stellar Lumen, Cosmos, and Algorand rounding out the top 8 there. But Cardano in a number 1 position only begs the question, is Cardano finally here to stay in the top 10 for the long term? And we're going to keep an eye on that each and every week. Input, output. The developer of Cardano blockchain is in the final stretches of preparations for its upcoming hard fork. Sorry, everyone. This event is called Vacil. The upgrade is expected to substantially improve the Plutus smart contract platform. According to the most recent update, the team of developers have successfully delivered a new node release for the Vacil upgrade with the first release of the command line interface. The much anticipated hard fork event, which was named after the late Bulgarian mathematician Vasil Dabos, is scheduled to take place on June 29th. If you do know anything about Cardano, typically has huge run-ups on these hard forks. Plutus was the last one. Before that, I can't remember which one it was, but regardless, these run-ups do take place, and we're going to be looking out the charts a little bit to anticipate what might happen after this hard fork does take place around June 29th. But it's good news for Cardano nonetheless. Now, investors are starting to view Polkadot as an alternative layer 1. So very similar, my approach for the longest time was Polkadot was going to be an interoperability play, allowing ecosystems to speak with one another. They have already integrated this on their own chain through parachains talking to one another, such as Moonbeam being able to talk to Akala. Now, this was delayed for quite some time, but this eventually started to launch in May of this year. Now we're going to start to see how that integration really starts to play, but the importance of it is, can Polkadot allow their chains to then talk to through the EVM with Ethereum and that ecosystem, as well as those layer 2s? Because if you're not able to make that happen, Polkadot is almost dead and gone. Just my opinion on that. Okay, you're competing against Ethereum for a long stay. You got to find your niche, and Polkadot's is that interoperability capability in order to survive. Now, we do want to hint on a little bit. Ethereum's price point right now is currently just above 1,800. Refreshing, considering we almost dipped below 1,700 for the first time in quite some time. But I don't think the pain is quite over yet. If we take a look back in 2018, the beginning of 2018, where we peaked out for Ethereum, we did dip below that bull market support band, now making it a bear market support band, tested, and then spent the entire year on a terrible downtrend for an entire year period. If you notice here, everything might just be pushed backwards a month, starting now in November of this year, hitting below that bull market support band, now becoming another bear market resistance band, touching base again, fighting for it, getting rejected. Looks all too familiar. History does not need to repeat itself, but we must at least acknowledge what is about to take place. Typically, when we're above this, we're setting new all-time highs, we're setting new lows. Are we going to go bounce off this again and come back down? Your guess is as good as mine, but I do think that there's more pain ahead. What I do want to kind of focus on real quick before we wrap this video up is, if we do look at the previous pain for Ethereum, it went down almost 95% back in 2018 from its all-time peak high down to its low. Now, if it's any comparison, Bitcoin has done this before. It has had diminishing losses along the way, starting over 90%, and then back in 2018, it diminished only like 86%, somewhere give or take a few percentage points there. Now, if we do look at Ethereum and we talk about its potential, what it might look like if we got an 86% drop, we're looking at a price point of Ethereum at $677. That feels so, that would hurt so much, but it's just trying to set you up for what potentially could happen, or at least expectations. If we have a massive capitulation, where this could go based off past data, and it's just giving you the information. and letting you decide what you want to do with it at the end of the day, everyone, okay? And we're going to wrap this video up with a little bit of knowledge around Cardano here. Cardano, of course, dipped below. We're in a bear market resistance band. We're in the middle of crypto winter. We're just trying to help position everybody. But what you've noticed is Cardano bouncing off of that resistance band, again, bouncing off, setting new all-time lows. We've had a nice bullish push. We might see this right into that June 29th hard fork for Vasil, but ultimately we are expecting another bounce off to new lows. We're going to see if that ends up playing out, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it's a lot of news that you ultimately don't want to hear. We just want to be here for that bullish push. Number only go up, right? But set expectations, understand what this market could do to you and how you have to stay in the game, and understanding that this is a long-term play always here at Macro Crypto, everyone. Till next time, peace, y'all.